Hey guys, Heavy Arms 45 here. Now, I hope y'all been enjoying what I've been putting out. Uh, I haven't said this yet, but yeah, I've already said this been New Year, but yeah, I hope last year's content was to y'all acceptance, and I hope to continue to do content that you enjoy. Um, the one I'm doing today is based off of though. I'm always, if you ever look at my description, always advertising my friends ninja underscore tank 25, um Sweetbunnie, and my other friends Lokey. Now Lokey did a video last week on Twitch. Check out all of them on Twitch if you can. But specifically Lokey got specifically the key and Lokey uh got into a heated discussion. And that's the best way for me to put it. And I tried to smooth it over because it was a situation of description of the person based off of how the anime shows them and the way the manga shows them. And that's where things didn't go off real. But the fact of the matter is, she said Bakugo's trash. And I can't argue against it. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Bakugo is trash. He is he is the angry character of the show that is only there to because he's angry. He is the Vegeta, the Sasuke, any character you can think of that's angry. That's who he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be the one who's angry because before this person, he would have been considered the best. Vegeta had the same problem. He came down to Earth thing that he finna whoop some lowly Saiyan, take over the Earth, get the Dragon Balls, and live forever. And now he got two kids, a wife that has more money than he do, and constantly trying to train to be better than this little idiot over here named Kakarot. But that's besides the point. And the discussion kept going to where it was a question of, at one point she said that Bako is so much worse than Sasuke. And I can see where she's coming from. Sasuke, he was a happy go lucky kid until his brother killed his entire family. Okay. Um but Bakugo has had no bad moments in his life. He has two loving parents. His dad's a little bit of a submissive. His mom's dominant. So she's on top in that family. Who cares? But and even Bakugo talks down to his dad. But their relationship works for them. Um, Bakugo has both his family. No one has done anything evil to him. It's just that he's so used to, in his time, he's always known that his power was so explosive. It was supposed to be. And now he's saying that this kid named Deku has basically out of nowhere gained powers and has become better than him. And I'm not going to just talk about Bakugo. I'm going to get more into it, but I am going to talk about the whole class of 1A because Key did say one thing that everybody needs to respect all the members of class 1A. So I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to try and be positive for the most part, on all the members of class 1A and what makes them good, what makes them loved, and why you should like the other characters besides just I'm about to say Todoroki, but yeah, it is Todoroki. Todoroki and Deku um and Deku and Bakugo. So I'm starting off with the first seed of the class, which is Yuga Oyami. Oyama. You know, I can never stop twinkling. I can't stop twinkling. Yeah, because he had to shorten it. I can't stop twinkling is a scaredy cat. He's not hero material, but through being in the class 1A, he has started to become more human, not human material, hero material than he could have been on his own. Yes, he's somewhat arrogant because he's French and he thinks that everybody else is somewhat beneath him. You can see that every once in a while. But he also like opened up this past season to Deku talking about how, you know, his belly button laser makes his tummy hurt and it's a power that he can't control on his own. Hence why he has to wear the belt to focus the energy because without it, he would basically be uncontrolled. He would be unchecked. He needs that to be able to control his quirk. And that was one of the problems we're finding out for a lot of the kids. A lot of kids are having powers that are stronger than what their actual abilities are. And, you know, Aoyama is a he is a nice guy, somewhat arrogant, but you're seeing a lot more sacrificial moments in him. When the chips goes down, he's willing to go ahead and work with the rest of the team to sacrifice. When they were going for the hero exams, it was him who he like, okay, my power can't do anything here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to sacrifice myself so other members of my team can like win and I'll be the sacrificial lamb. He sacrificed himself for the rest of the crew. Even when they had the attack on the camp, he was the one who helped to save Tokoyami. And we'll get to that later. He, even though he's scared all the time, he's still willing to put his life on the line to go ahead and save his fellow classmates, to be a hero. And what did All Might say? The point, well, the way you know you're a hero, your body moves without you ever thinking. That is a sign of a hero. And Aoyama has had several times where his body is moved and he didn't even know why in the world he did it. And yeah, that's him. Next person, seat number 2 is not Nima Ashida. Now, Ashida is one of the most hype, sweetest. She is the most peppiest girl, and I forget what I think her name is. Alien Queen, and Alien Queen is. And I'm trying to remember all their names as I say them. Alien Queen is so energetic. She is one of the most positive people in the group. In next to Uraraka and Uraraka. Uh and so yeah, she is her power is very useful. You know, her acid works in just about anything. She can make it slippery. Well, yeah, her acid, she can make a slipper acid where she can glide across the floor. She can make an acid that actually can burn through stuff. Her abilities are very multi-purpose. I'll go with that word for right now. I can't think of the other word I was going to say. But yeah, she has her ability of using her acid is multi-purpose. It's not just acid, but it's, well, not just a burn acid, but it's acids that can do other stuff. So apparently she can control the amount. And because of her, we wouldn't have one of the later people I'm going to be talking about wouldn't have like actually became the hero that he's starting to become, as we see in what happened in season 4. He, without her leading the way, he wouldn't be who he is today. Now, the next person in C3 is Suya Asui. And if you don't know her regular name, Frumpy. Frumpy, don't call her Sue. I think only Deku can call her Sue. I don't know. But Sue Frumpy is awesome. She is the most utility character that you have, just like with uh Nima. Her abilities are very uh multi-purpose. It's they have diverse. That's the word. They have very diverse abilities. Frumpy getting kind of like, as she keeps leveling up in a way, gets more and more abilities based off of what Frog's abilities are. So she has a big heart. She's there for the whole thing, and she's not. None of them are stupid, but she's also a person that's able to keep a cool head a lot of times and do the job that's needed of her a lot of time. So she is, in my mind, won the hearts of class 1A. Another person who I feel is a uh, heart of class 1A is seat 4, Tenya Ida. Ida, Ingenium, whichever one you want to call him, he is the heart of the class. He tries to be the leader of the class by trying to keep order, because through order he can keep from people panicking. Kind of like when he decided to ask Oraka to float him over. I mean, make him float so he could try and calm down the rest of the class when there was an alarm going off saying that there was an intruder in the school. You know, in I think that was in season 1. You know, and he learned from the moment when he tried to go after Stain for revenge of his brother, that you know chaos, trying to take do stuff out of order is not right. He still went after, did stuff that wasn't in order, but Ida has always been someone who basically tries to keep everybody else by the book in the rules, but he's also willing to bend them if he thinks that it will help the rest of the group. The next person in seat 5 is Ochaka Uraka. That's a nice name. Oh, Uravity is one of my favorite girls in the show. Now, if I had to pick, I'm gonna say, out of the people in the show, I mean, out of their group, yeah, I'm fanning for Sue and Uraka. They are two of the bet. They always are a good team together. Every time you see them, they working good pretty much with each other, and they kind of complement each other. Granted, as we saw with Sue can work with anybody. You know, Frumpy is great with anybody that she works with. But Uraraka and her has a very personal, close friendship that kind of makes it to where their teamwork is somewhat extra in a way. And she's constantly, Uraraka's always trying to find a way to be a better help to not just Deku, but other heroes in general. She wants to be a hero slash a support hero, because she wants to be a hero that's able to save other heroes, because some heroes do get lost. If you've been reading the manga, you've recognized that a lot of heroes have had moments where they've gotten lost, and they need to be able to find themselves. And she's the one that's trying to find a way to save their, I guess you say, souls in a way. At the same time, her main goal of trying to help her family get money. And even though it sounds greedy to say that she's trying to help her family to get money, it's not a great thing. She sees how hard they work, and she doesn't want them to die in debt, or basically losing it all, because working themselves to death because they don't have enough money to retire or stuff like that. And that's her job. She even was willing to work with them because her family does a construction company, and all she would want is just like use her ability to help them move metal beams and stuff like that. But her dad tells her, no, get an education. Do basically he doesn't want her in that life, but she wants to help. And I'm so I love Uraka so much. She and Frumpy has a very big heart in the not party in the class, and that's I think another reason why they work well together. The next person, which is seat number 6, is Mashirio Ojiro. Ojiro Mashiro is. I'm gonna try to be nice about this. To me, he's one of the weakest people in the class, and it's mostly because the only ability he has is tail. His defining quality is the tail that he has, and yes, it's a strong tail, but there's a lot more impressive people to me in the class. The thing that makes up for his tail is his karate. His karate and tail kind of makes it where he is a good support character, but he's not. I wouldn't put him as a mainline hero. Um, I don't know. I would have to look more into, I guess, what he does later on in the anime, because there is some parts of the manga that I miss. But he's not someone that I would see as. There's no. I have not found a way for him to upgrade himself, which is my thing. And class, positive. Class 1A, tail. Mashiro is. He is a great support character. He's able to help his friends and defend the weak while stuff is being taken care of. Um, yeah. The next person in the group is Denke Kaminari. Now, Kaminari is the seventh seat in the class. Kaminari is a lesser pervert. We'll get to the main pervert in class in a second. Well, maybe more than a second. But yeah, he is the number 2 pervert in the class. He is some. If we were putting him in the scale of people who were perverts, he's not Jiraiya. He's more of Krillin back in Dragon Ball, um, before everything happened. You know, um, he's a great support character. Now he is a good character. I would call him a support character, but he can do stuff on his own. The problem is that even though he can do stuff on his own, a lot of times he doesn't use his head a lot. He's not dumb. It's just that a lot of times the best way he thinks that he can help the group is by short circuiting himself by using all his power to electrocute everybody in the room, not in the room, in the area, into making everyone get shocked and by knocking them out. But he's only able to do that once. Once that fails, he's kind of pretty much screwed himself. And if he's trying to save somebody, the rest of the people he's trying to save. So he's having to try. He needs to find a way to make himself more irritative. Hence why, during the hero proficiency exam, he got those things that basically allows him to direct his lightning. That way, he doesn't have to just basically hit everyone. He can actually do a focused blast that does, let's say, stun someone, or even if he wanted to kill someone. But he's trying to be a hero. There's not many heroes that kill people. Um, we'll get to people who kill people. Lord, explosion murder. But yeah, he is. I'm waiting for the moment when they show highlight him into how he's improved. And they did somewhat, like I said, during the professional exam, um, the hero license exam, and yeah. The next person that's in seat 8 is Ijiro Kaminari. Kirishima. Yeah, Kirishima. Kirishima has shown that he is not a dumb blockhead like you would like to think that he is. He has shown that he actually has a relationship with Bakugo that kind of makes him, in some of the movies, Bakugo's best friend. Even when you get into season 3, where he literally calms Bakugo down, and he's the voice of reason to bring Bakugo into himself, to realize, hey, we're here. Come grab my hand. It was him that did that. And his fight during the I'm about to say Endeavor overhaul, um, during the overhaul arrest, was beautiful. He showed how strong he can be. And yes, he had some airhead moments, but he Kirishima is only the way he is now, trying to be a better person, not only to because of the Crimson Riot, but also because of uh, Mina Ashido. And she, because if he wouldn't have saw her um defend those girls against that giant monster who was walking through town, he would not have realized how weak he was. He would not have tried to have courage and become a better person. And part of it also was, like I said, because of the Crimson Riot. But seeing someone actually being a hero also kind of motivated him. Because it's different for you to see somebody on TV be a hero, because that's not someone that you know in real life. When you know a real life hero, it kind of motivates you to try and be a hero yourself. And thanks to her, he was willing to try and be a better man than he was before. And in my opinion, he has. Um, the person in the ninth seat is Koji Koda. Koji Koda is a sweet boy. Such a sweet boy. I'm sad that he's scared of insects, but he's such a sweet boy. He just wants to help everybody, but he's scared, and it's okay to be scared sometimes. He still knows how to use his call on animals to be able to help people, and that is great. You don't need to be the person that can throw the strongest punch all the time. There's nothing wrong with being a support character, just like Ojiro. There's nothing wrong with supporting your friends, backing them up, because every hero needs somebody able to back them up. And if he's one of the people backing them up, that's great. You don't have to have the strong, biggest muscles and all this stuff. You just have to be willing to save a life. Um, and he is willing to save a life. And I believe that he'd be willing to risk his life for anybody in the class and outside the class. Even during the professional license exam, he was able to help. His crows that he called in saved the whole, thanks him, between him and Aoyama's beam, kind of helped to make to where the whole class was able to get their provisional license, except for two of them. But eventually we all know that in the anime they don't get those. So the next person on our list is Shikido Sato. Now Sato is Sugar Rush. Sugar Rush is a great person. He's friendly. he has a power that I would love to have. The more sugar I eat, the more powerful I become. Yeah, where do I get that quirk again? You know, he has a power that I think that any fat boy would love. he Between his and Fat Gum, I wouldn't mind having one of the two of their powers. He's serious when he has to be. He's I don't know if I would consider him a support character. He's Yes, he's supported people in the actions they've done, but I think he can hold his own if need be in certain situations. Um, During some of the League of Villains abilities, he's not at that level. It's not he's With his sugar, he probably can be as strong as um not All Might, but um strong enough to fight them, but I don't think that he could stand some of their powers. But like I said, he is a great boy. And the kid, if it doesn't work being a hero, he makes great snacks. Did you see how he was like able to make desserts in his room? And you know how much money he probably say made his own food? That way he doesn't have to go out buying other people's sugar stuff. He makes his own. He probably makes his own chocolate. He makes his own cakes. He just makes good food. He could make a great bakery. Um, on to the next one. We have Mizo Shiji. I'm sorry, Mizo Shoji. Now, he is very diverse in his stuff too, because he has his abilities of turning his arms into any appendage he needs. Uh ears, mouth, others another set of hands, whatever he needs. He basically is putty for himself. He basically can grow whatever he needs as long as his original arms don't. And he's shown how helpful he can be. A lot of times people use him as pack mule because he's big. And so, you always see, like, you saw Mineta on his back, you've seen Deku on his back. He's good at saving multiple people because of his large frame and his large frame and strong hands. Um, you could say he's a good support, but he can be a good hero too. It depends on how he used those hands. I mean, use his extra appendages. The next person that we have is Kyoka Jiro. And Jiro, our headphone jack, is an awesome girl. Her ability is very useful for everybody. She's I feel like they're making her into a support character because all stuff she does is great for stealth. She can hear where people are. She basically is a great sonar. She has a great ability of basically, if she could probably, if she could tune a building using the metal, she could probably make it to where her headphone jack basically resonates the whole building to where, or create acoustics that could knock out a whole group of people if she could find the right frequency. And we saw how she was able to uh, neutralize, not for a long time, but somewhat temporarily, President Mike's voice, because he's screaming and she was able to block it out with her heartbeat, which works. She is, like I said, a very useful character. She she's they made her support, but she's a good support. She's a good sonar for everybody, and it it's nothing. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with being support, but you know you want everybody. I kind of would like everybody in class 1A to be like actual heroes instead of just sidekicks. But it all depends on how, each one of them that I've already talked about, and the ones I'm gonna be talking about later on, all depends on how they use their powers. Okay, I've said. Now, the next person in class 1A is Seat 13, which is Hintasaurus. Yeah, Zero or Cellophane. Um, that tapey boy, the somewhat Spider-Man of the group. He is able to tape people up with his tape that he shoots from his elbows. He's able to swing around with it. So he is very useful in any way you decide to use him. But he's also, in a way, I guess you can say, made into being somewhat a support character too. He's helpful though. He is very helpful. He can tie up criminals. He can um, probably shut a door tight with using his stuff, because I don't think that they can really break them that easily. But that's also, I guess you say, besides the point. My next one is my boy, number 14, Fumikage Tokoyami. Tokoyami, Dark Shadow, my boy. Dark Shadow and him are so great. Um, I believe that they could be a great stealth heroes. If I had to put people together in a tag in a group, I would probably put Jiro and Tokoyami together. Mostly because he works good in the dark. Like, his body's black, his power gets stronger in the darkness. So that means that Dark Shadow is able to fight better in the darkness. The only downside is that his ability kind of makes it to where he is constantly at the point where if you get him mad in the dark, he will probably try to kill everyone around him. Because um Dark Shadow has no off button when the sun's out. Except for you hit him with a strong bit of light. But Tokoyami could be a good hero. If he could, well, he is a good hero, but he'd be even better hero when he learns how to control Dark Shadow. My boy. My boy. The next character, which is seat 15, is Shoto Todoroki. Todoroki is the man. He has all the power in the world. He actually has a terrible backstory. He has a mom who got upset with him because he looked like his dad, and probably because he was starting to act like his dad somewhat. And she threw hot water on him. His dad beat him. Well, I'm assuming that he beat him, but his dad is basically a jerk, and you know everyone knows it. He knows it. The only thing he is his dad is a science experiment to try and make a good blend of fire and ice together to be able to cool himself off and be able to use a great amount of flames. So he's, in his mind, nothing but a giant test tube baby. Um, but even though he's done that, he has become probably, there's several hearts to this group, and I would want to say that him, Frumpy, and another person that I'll talk about later is the three hearts of this team. And I don't, even though they get into fights all the time, and not just with each other, they are the hearts of the team. Um, and they're the ones that, if anything could happen, would happen. Those three could lead three different teams of their class together. Well, in several different directions. Um, if they needed to. Um, but yeah, Todoroki does, and even Key said this. Key, from Lokey actually did say that Todoroki does have an actual reason for being a jerk to everybody. Like, if he was a jerk, it's understandable. He has gone through a great amount of pain. Not Sasuke level pain, but a good amount of pain. In my mind, he's somewhat like Neji. He has reasons to be upset with people. He has reasons to do what he does. But a fight with a person that he thought was beneath him in Todoroki's place, Deku, in season 2, kind of made him have a slight shift in the way he sees things. Kind of like what happened with Neji. I'm just hoping that the ending of what happened with Neji doesn't happen to Todoroki, because I like Todoroki. Don't do that to my Todoroki. As I don't want you to do that to anybody in the show. I mean, not in the show, but in Class 1A, because they all are like my little soldiers, you know, like I'm Batman. You know, I like how they all have their own way of fighting. So, next person in seat 16 is Toro Hagakuri. Toro is the invisible girl. I don't remember what her actual hero name is. And I think, as I've said these, I have skipped some of their hero names. And the fact of the matter is that her her ability is somewhat a one-trick pony, but it's the question of how you use that one trick. She is technically invisible. No one can ever know, so that means no one ever knows that she's there. So she's good at stealth. She's good at hiding her presence. Give her, I forget, if she learned like the skills that Toga said that she learned in when she was intruding into the hero exam. I mean, the hero proficiency test. If she could learn those skills of like hiding your presence, and like, if she ever, I don't think she'll have any type of bloodlust or anything like that. But if she learned how to do stuff like that, I think she'd be even more dangerous. And she has her own way, but she's so bubbly too. She's kind of like Mina. They both are somewhat bubbly in the way they do stuff. They're cheerful, they're happy. They are the happy-go-lucky part of the crew. You know, they make everybody feel so good about themselves. And you know, her being invisible, all the guys wonder what she looked like. And I wondered, why haven't they just like drew some paint on her or something like that? But no one's ever done it. So, oh well. And the boy I started talking about at the beginning of this thing, number 17, Katsuki Bakugo. I feel like I just messed up his last name. Katsuki Bakugo. Yeah, we'll go with that. So, Bakugo is an angry kid. He is an angry kid because he is no longer number one. And I can understand the reasons of saying that he's trash, and I am not denying the whole trash thing about him. But let's talk positive about him. He has, in times, been a motivation to Deku in how he does it. He has, even in times where he didn't really expect to teach Deku anything, he shown Deku stuff that Deku then put into his repertoire of doing things. Deku and Bakugo has known each other ever since they were kids. And Bakugo resents him because he won, and it's kind of sad. I think I've talked about this one before. Before he came to UA, Bakugo all had a smile on his face all the time, and after that point, he just has a, when you think have a superiority complex like he has, thinking that a weakling like Deku tried to save you from the slime villain, is kind of demeaning to you, and constantly every time you try to show how good you are, this little peepsqueak constantly keeps showing you up, showing that you're not as good as you think you are, showing that he's getting better every day. And where are you? You're the same place you were. Wait a minute. This sounds familiar. This sounds very... Who does this sound like? It sounds like Sasuke Uchiha. As he looked at Naruto, constantly getting better, using the Sharingan. As he used the Chidori and Naruto used the Rasengan, and they're attacking each other, and Kakashi comes and throws them both into the water tower, and Sasuke's like, oh yeah, and he sees that his hole is bigger in the front, and then he looks at the back as he's leaving, and he sees that Naruto's was bigger in the back. He blew that whole back out of that thing, and you know what? That's the thing. Bakugo is the same way. Bakugo has a not a short man syndrome, but he is somewhat of a short man syndrome. He's so he has a little man syndrome because he's like, I'm not as good as I thought I was. And he gets him so upset that Deku constantly keeps getting into, and let me go ahead and talk about Deku. Izuku Midoriya, also known as Deku. Izuku Midoriya is this kid who came from nothing and turned it into something. He had no quirk. He came and basically caught the eye of the number one hero who was trying to find someone to give his powers to. And he got him to this little kid who didn't have any powers at all. And told him that soon you will be the next hero. You will be a hero. And not even a hero. You'll be the best hero. You basically don't take my place as a symbol of peace. You're the one that's gonna stop all the evil that's gonna be coming. We need a symbol of peace to keep everyone calm. And we know it's true because after All Might retired, the amount of people, crime started to rise after that point. And the reason I went ahead and started talking about Deku is because when I get into Bakugo, you gotta get into Deku. Bakugo's inferiority complex is all because Deku constantly keeps getting better. He keeps learning from what other people have done. Bakugo already reached a certain peak. All Might try to explain this to him. He's like, hey, when you start off at the top of the peak, you can't get mad that this man who started from the bottom is improving. That means he's getting on your level. And let's face it, Deku, if he really wanted to, probably could be past his level. Because Deku knows more stuff than Bakugo. Because Deku is not focused on himself. Deku is focused on everyone around him. He learned something from every single person around him. He learned how to jump around after he figured out how to do full cowling from how Bakugo does stuff. He learns he becomes a amalgamation of all the other people in his class just because he has to learn how to become diverse in all these different, because he had to realize that the powers that he was using is not the same as the powers that All Might had. All Might was able to get his All Might form to where he had the muscular body and he could do the damage without hurting himself. Deku doesn't have that. Deku has to learn a way to use his power without hurting himself, but at the same time being able to do enough damage to actually hurt the person. And Bakugo is getting upset because he's not having to do that. Bakugo's like, hey, I already got this power. I learned this new trick. Okay, I learned one new trick. This whole man, while I was doing this one new trick, he went off and learned a whole new fighting style. You don't get mad over that because not because you're limited minded, but you already had yourself on top of the peak. All you have to do now, if you Bago, is rocket your way up to the next one. Find you a new peak. Find you something else you can do. Be like Deku. Make yourself to where you're not just, in a way, a one-trick pony. That is what Bakugo has to do. But no, Bakugo wants to whine and complain that, hey, Deku, you stupid Deku, you're becoming stronger than me. Why is it that it's my fault that All Might lost his power? Why is it? And it's a lot of guilt that he has too. And I tried to explain, without really putting into it spoilers, that Bakugo does have a shift. It's a start of a shift in the way he acts towards Deku, after their little scuffle after the hero exam. And some people say they don't really see a difference in him. Well, he still has this angry voice, but he's not truly angry at Deku anymore if you look at it. He's not yelling at Deku because he's trying to bully him anymore. He's yelling at Deku because Deku does something stupid. And Deku is not he's not the dumbest person in the room. I'm not saying that. But Deku is a person who he leaps before he looks. He goes ahead and does stuff without thinking about it. And he does, and that's basically, it depends on how he does. And because I just realized that's a stupid idea, because I started thinking about how it was when he ran into Night Eye. He fought Night Eye in his room trying to get that stamp without touching a single one of All Might's posters. He even, when he was fighting Overhaul, and it was a serious fight, tried to make sure that he didn't knock Overhaul into a place where people were silly. He had him fall in the same place they had been fighting the whole time. So I'm not saying that Deku's not calculating, but Deku and Bakugo's way of fighting are two different ways. Bakugo's way is like, I'm gonna blow it up, kind of like Wreck-It Ralph. I'm gonna wreck it. That's his thing. I'm gonna blow it up, and if I blow it up enough, it won't stand up anymore. Hence why he wants to be called Lord Explosion Mode. Lord Explosion Murder. He constantly wants everyone, he wants to try and be, and I feel like I'm taking too much time between Baku and Deku. But they're the two people that you're always talking. But if you constantly watch, you'll see what I'm talking about in the anime soon, hopefully. I've done Bakugo and I've done Midoriya. So I'm gonna go to the next person, and that is Minoru Mineta. Okay, I have to make another comment. Okay, Key made also a comment that Mineta is also trash. She don't understand why in the world people love Mineta, this short little pervert. And if I want to say who's the pervert, he is the number one pervert of the class. He is the horny, extremely horny dog of the show. He's up there to me with the ranks of Jiraiya, Master Roshi. He is the Jiraiya and Master Roshi in his future of My Hero Academia. He is the one that's going to be completely perverted. And listening to Key tried to say that um he's never did anything. And the thing is that I tried to argue against it. Mineta is not he's not a true hero material. His reason is for the girls. That's the only reason he wants to be a hero, is so that he gets the girls, because all he wants is ladies. But the thing is that everything he does, he's not gonna get the ladies. Not all of them, you know. But he likes being in a situation where he's around beautiful women. That's his thing. Mineta is, like I said, a pervert, but Mineta will also do what he has to when it counts. And I'm not. That's not discounting the perversity of Mineta. When you look at the USJ attack, yes, it was Sue and Midoriya who set up the plan, but without his sticky balls, his moment of throwing those out there, he they would not have been able to survive that. Neither Deku or Sue, because those guys that were in the water didn't know what to do. And yes, Mineta wanted to run. So did Ayama. He wanted to run too, but he didn't. You know, Mineta went ahead and threw his ball, and ever since then, he has grown, as you would if you're going through a hero course, to be a better hero. Every time something happens, he's doing something to try and protect the rest of them. He, I, I know that he was a part of USJ, uh, not the USJ, but when they were attacked at the Capitol, but I can't remember exactly what he did. But he, just like the rest of the crew, he tried to save people. He tried to protect their friends. So Mineta is a pervert. I will give you that Mineta is a downright pervert, that I don't think that he should be 10 yards to any woman. But he's someone that you can expect to help when the chips are down. That's all I have to say. Um, and the last person is Momo Yoros, Yorozu. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm butchering up. And she is C20. So I've made through all of them. Also, she's also known as Creative. She, if everybody else I said was different parts of, like, the three actual leaders of the group, even though you have Ida and Yorozu, Yorozu as being the being the class representative and the vice class representative, the three people that are the actual leaders of the group, of the class, is Todoroki, Bakugo, and Midoriya. They don't really lead the group, but they're the ones that are the heavy hitters of the group. They are the big three of their class, technically. But without Creative, you would not have. She is the brains of the class. She is the one who actually can put their abilities together and make a plan out of what they can do. Which goes back to the girl when they were doing the hero exam, that had the ability of figuring things, like increasing her IQ by T. You know, even though she was able to increase her IQ by T and supposedly smarter than Creative, she still was not able to outthink her. And uh Yorozu was actually Ya Yorozu was able to actually outthink her, and was able to win the match, to where her and the other people in her group was actually able to make it out of, even though they were in odds that was completely different from what should have been able to do. Everything in that fight was against them, but they still were able to win no matter what. And that's what makes her important. And I had said earlier about there being three hearts to the class, and those people, if I remember correctly, I said was, and I meant to say the third one was Midoriya. The heart of the class to me is uh, Froppy, uh, Todoroki, and Deku, because without the three of them, I feel like if someone was having to any of the three of them, the rest of the class would almost fall apart. Um, Especially if something happened to Sue. Sue is like the most innocent one of them all. So it would kind of hurt everybody if something was to happen to her. And I don't know if y'all agree with everything I said. I hope y'all do, but you know, we're all here with our own opinions. So I'm gonna go cut it off here and I'll catch you later.